Hey guys, how you doing here? I was watching a few videos from Cool Duder. Um, Great guy. I saw that he did a video like maybe 4 to 7 years ago about his most watched horror films. I highly recommend you go check that out. Um, I just have a big stack of horror movies that, I feel like I've watched like 100 times or whatever, but some of them I watched more than others. They're in no in particular order, um, because I do not catalog how many times I've seen a movie, but some of these I could easily say I watched tons of times. From when I turned 12 years old, which was my very first horror movie I ever seen is in this pile. Um, we'll get to that one. Um, yeah. Sorry, just fixing the pile. Um, all of these movies I've seen a number of times, so let's just. Some of them are relatively unknown. Some of them are known. Uh, yeah. All these movies I watched a lot. So, anyway, let's just get started. So the first movie here is actually the 10th anniversary edition of Grave Encounters. It's kind of a movie where it kind of plays as it's a found footage movie. I'll say that. And this is not the only found footage movie in this, but this and this other one that's found footage, which I'll say if it's a found footage movie when I get to it. You guys probably already know that this one's a found. You guys will probably know that this next found footage movie is a found footage movie, so I probably don't have to say it, but I will say it anyway. Anyway, Grave Encounters is basically a movie where you know it's about this paranormal investigating team goes to a mental asylum, and they don't think they're gonna catch anything paranormal, and but they do, and one by one they each die off, I guess. So there's a spoiler, kinda. It's not really much of a spoiler, but it's, yeah, great movie. This next movie comes from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. It is Texas Chainsaw. This is easily one of my favorite movies in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I know it's not perfect. I know it's not great, but I really like it. The guy who played Leatherface, Dan Yeager, I think is his name. Who plays Leatherface in this movie? He does a pretty good job, I feel like, of playing Leatherface. He's a tall guy, just like Gunnar Hansen, the original Leatherface. excuse me. Uh, you know, there's a lot of special features on here too. Yeah, I haven't watched any of the special features. When I get a movie, it's typically for the movie itself. But, you know, I plan to watch special features eventually. And this movie right here is the very first horror movie I've ever seen. I would say I watched this probably like 50 times or so. It's on VHS. It's not a very well known movie. It's called A Deadly Spawn. But, you know, if you're just getting into horror movies, this is a good one to start with. It's really, really good. As you can see, I got the VHS one. I plan to upgrade on DVD or Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray is like really out of print. So right now I'm just sticking with the VHS. I'm not gonna say too much about that movie, but yeah. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I actually rewatched this one recently on Halloween with another movie, which is also in this pile. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is basically about killer clowns from space, as it says in the title, and they go on Earth, basically turning people into cotton candy. You know, it's a cheesy one, I will say that. Cheesy 80s horror movie. Fantastic. Next one, every horror fan knows about. It's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Not the atrocious remake. The atrocious remake, it sucks. I probably will never get it. Unless if I find it for like $1 or something. But if that happens, I'm not getting it. And I will say I watched the second one probably just as much. But I didn't get the second one out. Because I wanted to keep this kind of like one movie per franchise. And this is the other one I watched on Halloween. Hence the name. Halloween. This is the 4K, but I do not have a 4K player. I have a Blu-ray player, which just comes with a Blu-ray. But, yeah. This is a really nice edition, though, I will say that. Alright, now to the next found footage movie I was talking about. It's The Blair Witch Project. It's about these students, I'm assuming, wanting to look for the Blair Witch in this town. It's one of those movies where, you know, just like Grave Encounters, they're kind of joking around, you know, playing with each other. But then things start to happen. They get lost in the woods, and that's really where the movie begins. And that ending, one of the most bizarre endings I think we have ever seen in a horror movie. Anyway, Blair Witch Project. I'm gonna move these somewhere else. Okay, now we're getting into a zombie film. this is probably either my first favorite or my second favorite zombie flick. My other favorites is in this pile. Anyway, this is The Return of the Living Dead. You know, you kind of a sequel to Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero, but you know, it's not made by George A. Romero. But you know, it's a good movie. I love this movie. I will say there is some nudity in this movie. So, I mean, there's nudity in a lot of horror movies. I don't know why, but you know. This one kind of has a nice selection of special features too. Not a lot of special features, but a nice selection. I don't really know how really to explain this movie. I guess I could try. Basically, it starts off with there's, like, you know, when I said that this is kind of a spiritual sequel to Night of the Living Dead. Well, in this movie, Night of the Living Dead is like a true story in this movie. And the zombies and the zombie from Night of the Living Dead appears in this movie. And basically, well, I don't really know how really to say most of the story without spoiling it, so I'm going to stop there. But I think you guys should give it a try. And my other favorite zombie film, oh boy, and this is the ultimate edition of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. You know, a movie from the 70s. (1978) it's saying. This one comes with a lot of stuff. So, in my opinion, this is the best edition on DVD. Like, it comes with the theatrical cut. Yeah, it comes with the US theatrical cut, the extended version, the European version, and documentaries. So, you know, it really is a nice addition to zombie lovers collections. Okay, now we're getting into another one of my personal favorites. I like all these films, but this one truly is one of my personal favorites. I guess this is an American remake. It is The Ring from 2002. The remake of the Japanese film Ringu, which was like, I forget, like 98, 97, 98, I don't remember. But, you know, I watched this one a number of times too. Like all these films. I watched this one a number of times. You guys probably know the gist of this one, but if you don't, it's basically about this girl named Samora Morgan. You know, long-haired girl. She dies, and then there's a cursed videotape flying around. And if you watch it, you die in 7 days. And yeah. Okay. Next up, we got Darkness Falls, another underrated horror film. This is Well, if the Tooth Fairy was a horror villain, this is it, I guess. It's been a while since I watched this one, though. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna have to make this pretty quick here because I'm running out of time before supper or dinner, whichever one you want to call it. Next one I watched, I think this one's underrated too. Recently rewatched this one. It's called Dead Silence. It's a I don't really know how to explain this one, to be honest with you, but it's about a legend, I guess you could say, of ventriloquist called Mary Shaw. And she dies and she's turned into a doll, and then a curse happens with the doll. The doll gets sent to the main protagonist's house and kills his girlfriend by ripping out her tongue. So basically, Mary Shaw kills you by ripping out your tongue and takes your voice. So anyway, there you go. Next one, and this is a classic. These next three are very much classics. This is a film. This is a Steven Spielberg production and a Tobe Hooper film. If you guys do not know what I'm talking about, it's Poltergeist. And imagine this film is PG. So, a nice film though, I will say that. But it's been a couple years since I've seen it. I will have to see this again. And you know what? I plan to see it again. When was this movie made? That's what I want to know. 1982. This movie. Good movie. And, you know, you kind of can't really talk about shark horror movies and not talk about Jaws. I've seen this easily about I don't even know how many times I've seen it. I lost track. But, you know, this is the Walmart slip cover, glow in the dark slip cover. And there's the movie. This movie runs like 2 hours and 4 minutes though. And if you know me, my favorite horror movies are like kinda like I can't really sit and watch a 2-hour movie most of the time all in one sitting because I have to move around and stuff. But I mean I can, but you know. Next one, 1989. This is a Stephen King movie called Pet Sematary. Yeah, Pet Sematary. Basically, if you're a horror fan, you can't go wrong with this one. This is really just I guess you could say, you know, it's a good movie. It's also been a while since I've seen it, but, you know, I haven't really been seeing this edition for a while. Let me know if this edition is out of print, because I don't know. Anyway, well, that's my most watched horror movies, guys. Maybe someday I'll do an updated collection video where I go through all my horror movies and show them off. If you want me to. But anyway, for the time being, that's horror movies I have watched probably 100 times or so. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but you know, it's a lot. I watched a lot of these movies several different times. Anyway, comment down below what some of your most watched horror movies are. Or just horror movies you feel like you have watched a lot, either as a kid or an adult. And if you're still a kid and if you're just getting into horror movies, these are some you cannot go wrong with, I feel like. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you subscribed, you join the Hyena Pack. Peace.